My name is Tom McCormick. I represent, I'm an officer of the Klingel Corporation, which is an owner of the building. I'm also a senior vice president of the Salt Company, which is a manager of the building. So I can speak tonight both on behalf of the owner and on behalf of the manager. Now, my understanding, I'm not a rent control lawyer, but my understanding from our rent control lawyer, and I don't want to put words in your lawyers' mouth, but as I understood her as well, 70% agreements, because they're voluntary by tenants, the rent administrator rubber stamps them. I don't want to say rubber stamps them, but they tell me there's sort of automatically approved. Not surprisingly, the rent control administrator is not trying to, the rent control administrator has lots of things to do, lots of abuses to check and complaints to listen to, etc. If tenants say, we like this deal, we like having our rent frozen for the rest of our lives, and have the renovation costs paid by the market rent other people who will come into new units. The rent administrator says that's fine. And frankly, within DC, this is a building that's in a relatively nicer area with a population that's relatively more affluent. Not that every one of us is affluent. So I think the rent control administrator says, Connecticut Avenue, Kennedy 1, tenants want it. Tell me about a real problem in the city.
I was talking about what we viewed the risk as being when this was first being debated, and it looked like, we were talking about a possibility of $600 or $800 a month in additional rent. And I think what Tom's saying is that it could be a lot worse than that.
Not could be, it's just a matter of time. And frankly, I'm not going to get through all my strategies, but from the city standpoint, it's better if this building makes more money because the taxes go up, real estate taxes go up. And I think the city administration, with whom we have lots of dealings, I'll leave it at that, will be sympathetic to moving this decision along. I mean, it'll always be on the merits. I'm not concerned about the merits. I'm concerned about just, delay because some of the administrative bureaucracy in DC tends to move slowly, but DC bureaucracies, like any bureaucracy, move a little faster in some instances than others. I think I can make this one move fast. So I know lawyers can say I can hold things up for a long time. A bureaucratic agency, we'll see.
Did I hear you say that the rent administrator would not meet with you?
Yes,
And what grounds?
she didn't explain.
Ex parte communication.
Called up to set a meeting with the rent administrator?
Yeah, I tried to follow up through our counsel. I gather,
Oh, well.
you can't, I won't be able to quote you exactly. Apparently, there's a regulation that they are interpreting today because people used to meet with the rent administrator. They sit down, the tenants and the landlord, and say, here's what we're going to do. They are now interpreting some regulation that says, we don't do that. But as I said, my intent when I got the agreement was to meet with the rent administrator to say, you have the objections. The tenants, meaning the tenants as a group, are desirous of this agreement. You have objections. I will speak to them as I read them. If you have anything else, I think this gentleman's concerned if there's something else that was in her mind that she didn't write, I was happy to speak to that. But she wouldn't meet. So our issue was with the rent administrator.